Veganism. Yep, I said it. You heard me, oh rabid meat eater. So for those of you who count yourself a high-level meat eater, of which I am a fully paid-up tribe member, this is not the week where you switch off and check out. My name's Antoinette and I'm going live every Sunday. And this year I'm focusing on life lessons for little a, little me. Things I would love my 20-year-old bold self to know as I approach 50. So my mum, Joyce, God love her, was ahead of her time and culture. For a Nigerian woman to be espousing not only a vegan diet, but organic food, vegan clothing, and literally anything else she could lay her hands on in the 90s, when sourcing those things wasn't easy, was remarkable. And I wish that instead of rolling my eyes at her as she asked me to drive her to some backwater place to satiate these needs, or getting cross or tying myself up in knots at Christmas when trying to make her Christmas dinner more tantalising, I really wish I'd listened more. So for those of you who are more woke than me, you'll know that she was on point. So the first time I seriously dabbled with veganism was in my 30s. My church was doing a collective fast for Lent, and they were calling it the Daniel fast, after a guy in the Bible, like, you know, the story of Daniel in the lion's den, that guy. So we were challenged to abstain from something for Lent, and we could use that time with whatever we'd given up to have more conversations with God. But the big challenge for those with really kind of like hardcore cause was to have a similar diet to Daniel and to only have one meal a day. And Daniel's diet, so we're told, actually so we read, was vegan. I'm not exaggerating. By the end of those 40 days, people were literally doing a double take when they saw me. Colleagues, which is really bizarre, despite having seen me on a Friday, on a Monday were saying, oh, like, where have you been on holiday? What are you up to? People who hadn't seen me for a month were slack-jawed, and they said things like, you're just glowing. Like, what's going on with you? Everything was just delightful. My skin was great. My energy was great. Cue me becoming a vegan, right? I literally broke that fast with some dirty chicken from KFC. So the next time I did this, maybe it was a year later, maybe it was a couple of years later, was in solidarity with my Muslim students for Ramadan. And I wanted to experience the physical challenges that they were having, especially as they were having to rock up to PE, and it was a particularly hot summer, if I remember rightly. And pretty much the same effects after a month. Once I'd gotten through the bends of the grueling first week with headaches, fatigue, and general grumpiness, I felt incredible. Regulated, like, you know what I mean? Full of energy, great brain clarity, and actually feeling pretty good about myself and the world. So this was the moment I embraced veganism, right? Again. The truth is, I never became a vegan. The closest I got was a 4-year vegetarian stint, where a lot of my food was vegan because it was influenced by my mum's cooking. But recently, I've been on a cooking workshop with a fabulous nutritionist in my local business network called Nic Naish. I'll put the link below. And she talked to us about the imperative of having a strong plant-based game in our diet. Did you know that there are around 40 trillion microbes in our gut, and that keeping them in balance is the key to life? It gives us great brain health, skin health, body immunity, mental health, like the scary list goes on and on and on. And plant-based food is the vital key. So for so long, I've been priding myself on having my 5 a day. But it turns out that variety is the spice of life. Well, the spice of food anyway. And we need to have over 30 plant-based things in our gut each week, different things. So I like my go-to was kale or spinach every week, some carrots and peppers, maybe a bit of aubergine. Like, these would be things I would rock out week on week, but I'm now having to spice it up and bringing a whole load more of variety. It does include herbs and spices, so things like ginger and cinnamon, all of those things count as well, so that does make it easier. But in addition, we also need to source our food from organic and happy rearing environments. Basically, the less toxins we put in our system, the more our bodies will thrive. It's not rocket science, right? We all intrinsically know this, but somehow so many of us are gleefully eating toxic and junk food. So if you're interested and you're close to Worthing, Nic's hosting weekly workshops in her kitchen around this. And honestly, if you are local, even if you're not, like if you've got an hour and a half commute, you should definitely consider booking in. It was a brilliant, brilliant morning. I'll pop the link below, as I said. So I'm slowly changing things up. I'll be gradually introducing more organic food. I get it, it's not cheap, right? Especially when you're feeding a family. I'm going to look out for more food markets, fresh food markets. It's one of the things that I definitely miss from London and miss living in. There was a point where I lived near Croydon Market and my walking commute every day would take me through the market. Because it's me, I've got a spreadsheet on the go. Of course I do, a bit of a geek like that, where I'm tracking the plant-based stuff in my diet on a weekly basis. And already I can see, like, I've now got 30 go-to things that I seem to have. So I'm really trying to think a bit more seasonally as the year goes on as well. It needs to be said though, I'm still available for all things food, and as ever, will be a happy trooper with whatever you put in front of me. I guess my last thought is that I'm still puzzling over why adding prayer into this extended prayer, into the 1 meal a day fast seems to supersize the effects for me. If you've got any thoughts on that, answers on a postcard, please. So here's what I'd say to my younger self. So little A, remember you are what you eat. Your mum always knows best, and she is onto something with this veganism lark. It's good for you and it's good for the planet. You don't have to go all in, but have more plant-based, non-meaty meals in your weekly diet. And if you can, little A, wherever you can afford to, only good cuts of organic meat. Your 50-year-old self will thank you. I'd love to hear from you guys, oh listener. What's your go-to plant-based meal? If you've got any photos or if you've got any recipes or links, please share them below. I love to hear from you. Until next Sunday, I'm off out. And my usual sign off, you're powerful, little A. Be brave, be bold, be kind. Choose joy. See you next week.